need to write x2. My x2 is 9 minus my x1 is 7. This is squared. So 9 minus 7 would be 2. 2 squared basically, which would be 4. Then we have plus here. Bracket open. Now y2. y2 is 15 minus y1 is 11. Bracket closed, whole squared. Just put this in your calculator. You'll get your answer. That would be your length or distance. Is this clear to everyone? Asma? Anyone needs further explanation? Please let me know. You need to memorize this formula. This is a formula for distance between 2 points or length of a straight line. Distance between 2 points or length of a straight line. Okay. Next formula. This is for midpoint. So we have this straight line. Let's say we want, this is point A, this is point B, and we want to find its midpoint. Its midpoint would be somewhere around here, right? Its central point. This is its midpoint. So this is a formula for when you are given two extreme points A and B, and they ask you to find the centralmost point, like midpoint of this straight line. I know this formula looks weird, but it's not hard. It's quite easy. What you need to do is, I'll implement it and then you'll get it. I have two coordinates, let's say 5, 11. I'll just take 7, 15. I have these 2 points. I'll call them once again x1, y1, x2, y2. Yes, you can. Abu Bakr is saying, can we do x2 plus x1? Yes, you can, because, like, for example, let's suppose our x1 is 3 and our x2 is 7. 3 plus 7 divided by 2, what do we get? 10 divided by 2, 5, right? Now, if we do the other way around, 7 plus 3 divided by 2, we get the same answer, right? So if you do x1 plus x2 divided by 2, or if you do x2 plus x1 divided by 2, you get the same thing. So you can do x2 plus x1 as well. Okay, now I have these two coordinates. The important thing to remember here is this first part that you see of the formula. This is for x coordinate of the midpoint. x1 plus x2 divided by 2. This is just to get the x coordinate of the midpoint. There is a comma here that you see, right? So this second half is completely different formula. This is for the y coordinate only. This second part is for the y coordinate, right? So I'll just find the x coordinate first. To find the x coordinate, what I need to do is x1 plus x2. My x1 is 5. You can see x1 is 5, x2 is 7. So 5 plus 7 divided by 2. 5 plus 7 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So my x coordinate of the midpoint is 6. Has this made sense? Now I'll do the same thing but for y coordinate, this second formula. My y1 is 11 plus my y2 is 15. 11 plus 15 would be 26. And 26 divided by 2 would be 13. So I have my y coordinate and I have my x coordinate. So the midpoint here, midpoint is, first write the x coordinate. I'm just replacing the x coordinate on this side, 6. Then we have a comma in the middle. Then we have our y coordinate, which is 30. Done. This is how you find midpoint. So it's very simple. You just need to use this formula. This entire formula, this directly gives you your midpoint. Why would we multiply them? This is a comma. This is not multiplication. This thing on the left, this is just a single formula. This gives you the x coordinate. You see, I wrote a comma here. I wrote my x coordinate on the left side of the comma, and my y coordinate on the right side. This part is a completely different formula just for y coordinate. Any doubts here? Any doubts? So this is a formula to find midpoint of a straight line. If there are any doubts, please let me know. So we have done length of a straight line, midpoint of a straight line. Next we have equation of a straight line. That's it. That would be your answer to the midpoint. You don't do anything else. You just write this as your answer to the midpoint. You don't have to do anything else. Okay. Now our third formula of the day, yes, we'll do gradient after this one, is, or maybe we can do gradient first and then we'll come back to this. Coordinate geometry is the name of the chapter. Gradient of a straight line. Gradient is the slope of a line. Gradient is the slope of a line. When you have a horizontal line, we represent gradient by M. M is the symbol for gradient. For a horizontal line, there is no slope. What would be my gradient? Gradient would be 0. Left to right, when it's going upwards, the gradient here is constant and positive. The gradient is positive. When left to right going downwards, it is negative gradient, right? Whenever it is going downwards, left to right, the gradient is negative. So gradient is just a slope. Your highest gradient would be for a vertical line. Here the slope is maximum, unlimited slope here. So for real life, when we are at a flat land or when we have a road, the gradient is 0. But when we are in a hilly area of mountainous region, we say there is a large slope here. Zara Batul, it will not give you any traumas by the end of next week, inshallah. Right? So if you focus, just attend the live classes, focus on the class without distractions. By the end of next week, y is equal to mx plus c will never give you a trauma again, inshallah. That's the aim at least. Okay, now for gradient of a straight line, our formula is this. This is our formula. M is equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Okay. So let's suppose we have been given 2 points. Yes, rise over run, basically. The 2 points that we are given are 2, 1. You can see it is given here as well. This is the point. How do we find this is 2 and 1? The x coordinate is what we write first. So from here, if we go down, this is the x axis, this is the y axis. Vertical axis is the y axis, horizontal axis is the x axis. So this is 2 here. And from the same point, if we go to the left, that would give us the y-axis value, which is 1. So for this second point, if we come down from here, this is 4. X coordinate is 4, as you can see. If we go to the left, the y coordinate for this point is 5. So this is how we find these coordinates. So we have these coordinates 2, 1, 4, 5. Okay. Now the second coordinate is 4, 5. What I'll do is, yes, Hamdan, I'll give names to these coordinates. I'll give names to these coordinates. The first one, I'm calling it x1, y1. The second one, I'm calling it x2, y2. Even if you do it the other way around, if you call the first one x2, y2 and the bottom one x1, y1, you will get the same answer. What you cannot do is call the first coordinate of this as x1 and the second coordinate of this as y2. That you cannot do. Either both of them are ones, like x1, y1.